Woohoo! Hello, hello. Can you hear me? Or do you hear the background traffic? The background traffic as a motor vehicle? Or the birds chirping in the background? We are here holding down the lawn and watching the bats and the barn swallows come out for their evening meals. I said that I would come back on again this evening after the brouhaha down in DC to see what kind of questions that Santa was willing to answer. And unfortunately, I watched until like 7, and then I had to go to the store. So I really didn't see if anything had come about after I had left. I was watching for a couple hours prior to, and then the meeting of Freedom Squirrel and Defender of the Ants. And I'm not quite sure who everyone else was. I know that there was an attorney present, and there were also, hey Kimberly, sweet. Always sweet to see you, my dear. So it was kind of like a troll infused dissension prior to the meetup of Freedom Squirrel down in DC. So, of course, that helped to escalate everybody's emotions and energies. And there were emotions flying on both sides and questions that were left unanswered. And in the usual MO, Santa just ignored anybody asking questions pretty much after the initial, what's the deal? What's the deal with Bandit, And that is still one of those that is questionable. And it seems that the law, yeah, he said the answers he always gives, and I'm sorry, but they just don't sit good enough with me. Now, Freedom Squirrel had texted me earlier. I have had her number since the early days of the People's Convoy. and we did not personally know each other very well because I move at a turtle's pace and she moves at a squirrel's. So, yeah, that's what I saw, Fireman 17. It's been 2 weeks since I was there, and I can't say that I know that he stayed either in DC or at Bunker Hill. I really thought that he had left, and then, I would see him appear again. So I don't know. Yeah, it's, but there again, when you're looking at the civil disobedience, it's kind of like following in Santa's MO. And it's like, oh, well, in my opinion he's really a good guy. And that could be correct. That he is correct in that he really is a good guy. But when the law states a different type of retribution, it's like, okay, I'm playing God, and I say that he's okay to be around, and, that's questionable judgment, period. When you are involved in a movement with children and it puts both sides at a vulnerable position, period. Understanding the importance of the movement, but that's not to say that we, other supporters of the reinforcement of our constitutional republic, aren't doing things in our locations and, they aren't putting a movement in jeopardy. And that was the big thingy, Cameron. He doesn't disclose, period. And that's what I'm saying about the MO. Whether it be divulging information regarding pedophiles, or what is the extent of the law in possibilities of criminal actions being taken. I mean, it's one thing to say, okay, whoever is willing to be arrested and have your vehicle taken, the rest of you are cowards. Well, excuse me, but just because I don't want to get arrested, just because I don't want to lose my vehicle, don't call me a frickin' coward. Don't call anybody a coward because they want to break a law that you think should be broken. The same as with having people in camp who are not supposed to be there. Period. And I'm not going to say that there is no cure, because hopefully there is. I do have my faith, but it's the same as an alcoholic. I would, go figure, or a drug addict, or someone who is obviously way overweight, you know? I mean, what's it gonna take for you to go for that first cookie, that first drink, that first drug, that first child, you know? So, yeah, that's my thought on that, and as I say, it's similar to what I feel about the getting arrested. You know, I plan on doing way more outside of a environment where I have no freedom, and that would be in jail. I'm not sorry, but I like it on this side of the bars. I would prefer to hold down the lawn or go into the forest or, you know, any of the above rather than being in a jail cell. I mean, my vehicle is, you know, enough of a jail cell, but I'm still out in the air. You know, I do spend a good portion of my day outside because it does bring me serenity and peace and the de-stressing that I have been needing for the past few years, not just months. So now it's getting my energy back up again, recovering from Lyme's disease, which was challenging, especially when my stressors were maxed out from the convoy through hell. It was a challenge. You really couldn't take care of yourself. And, yeah, I'm sure I'm not the only one who fell ill or who have passed because of the mistreatment that they endured on the journey. Yeah, I'd still like to know what the don't know free living. What I can tell you is that I do know that the criminal justice system is broken. I can verily tell you for the past, how many years is it now? 78. So that would be like 50 years, about that I have, no, not 58, 48, there we go. Yeah, I met my children's father and around in there, and he was a bad boy. And we know how those good girls are with those bad boys. And, yeah, I learned about the criminal justice system that slapped his hands, but it was the children that paid for his sins. Oh yeah, the abused child is definitely, and we are all abused children. We all have to go back and identify that first hurt and heal that child, because every wound that we receive just compounds upon that first wound. So go back and identify where, you know, go back as far as you can, whether it's a child, whether, you know, no matter what age, go back and identify a hurt that has impacted. And if you can't find forgiveness, well, that's a part of the hurt that is tormenting. And the sweet victory that you gain from forgiveness, just telling someone, and you don't even have to tell someone, but forgive them in your heart. You know, if you have to go to more dramatic means of writing it down on a piece of paper and burning it and setting it free and moving water, that's always a ritual. But to feel the weight that is lifted when you finally forgive. And a good way to do that is to look at why. If this person supposedly loves you, then why did they do something horrific? And then go back into their childhood, because that's where it usually stems from. It stems from their childhood and how they are taught, because we don't know what we don't know until we're taught, and sometimes what we're taught isn't the truth. That was the thing about Frankie and his charge of, and what got turned into a third degree because of how the criminal justice system is set up. They give you a number, and once they have your number, they will continue to prey upon you. Brooke, that was one, if you look back at the third secret of Fatima, in I think it was the 40s in Portugal, and Fatima, the Mother Mary, had appeared to 3 children, and the Pope was supposed to reveal the warning by the 60s, but kept it covered. So we see what hiding secrets in closets does. And yeah, it hurts, and that's what we have to do as a society. We have to heal our inner child that still grieves from past wounds that we received, whether it was done to us on purpose or whether it wasn't. Some people just act out as. I listen to people correcting their children, and the angry words that are spouted are felt much sharper coming off the tongue than with the slap of a hand. Excuse me. So just because you think that you were not harmed because you were not physically abused, physical abuse heals. It's the mental, emotional abuse that we have to identify and heal that. And once you heal that and you feel the weight of forgiveness, whether you're forgiving yourself or you're forgiving others, it's pretty much the same, because you forgive others to forgive yourself. Wizzy Satan, I hope you're doing good wherever you are. Well, blessed be, my dear. I hope that you are too. Thank you. And as I say I'm always good, because the alternative sucks. So as long as we have that faith that, okay, I don't have to ask how or why, except it's God's will and it will be good, then it usually is. But the faster you throw up your hands, the happier you will be. Looks like we're gonna have some blue skies and pink clouds. Those are always my favorite. I've been wanting to get a motorcycle for who knows how long. And I wanted to get it airbrushed with the vibrant blue skies and pink clouds. Oh, Brooke, yeah. Yeah. And I had no idea about that. Oops, sorry guys. I think it was like 2010 that I was educated on that. I have a video up on my GLoLady channel, and it was let me see what I call it. Was it a drum circle in Cherokee or something like that? And somebody got on me that it was a Lakota, I think it was a Lakota song or drum, and it was like, I didn't know, but the person who was drumming is the one who told me about the crimes against the children in Canada. And it was like, wow, that was an eye-opening experience. So, I love and miss you guys. That was the big part of the movement is the people that I met. Oh, Ivan, I can't do chemicals. You know more about the spirit world than anyone I've met. Yeah, I have photos of my first physical contact with it. What did you make of the totem that was left behind Frankie Bobby's truck? Are you talking about the wooden voodoo dolls? I had, or the stick ones, I had caught a glance of them because, yeah, I was interested to see exactly how they were made and everything, and, if it was just yeah, I mean, not that you can't put ill intent into anything, but a good majority of the time is just, getting people to freak out and to think, and, they do it upon themselves. I, excuse me, like I said, I just caught one photo, and I couldn't even make out one distinguishable one, let alone if all three of them were together. And yeah, that's a big part of. Now, there again, I also have experience of picking up someone's ill intended upon tools that I happened to come upon down in Key Biscayne, Florida. And that is where a lot of the voodoo is done. And I can't tell you that there is not power in behind energy work, because I know that there is. And I'm looking at this sky, and it's like, he started speaking in Spanish too. Is there, oh, sugar. Oh, hold on a minute. Let me move this. And then, yeah, let's get talking about that. Oh, okay. Because that's a beautiful sunset. There we go. How's that? Okay, so anyhow, tell me about this. He started speaking Spanish too. Was there a reason for that? Well, I mean, there's a good chance that if he was Spanish, the one that I found in Key Biscayne, the tools that I found down there, that's Spanish. That's Cuban, not just Cuban, but Haitian, Jamaican. You know, where voodoo is a religion, and you have to consider that every religion has its own light and dark. I had studied world religions when I went, and yeah, New Orleans is a lot of French, the French quarters, but yeah, isn't it a gorgeous sky? But yeah, the Spanish, the French, they have voodoo, and it's really like any, like I'm saying, all religions have a light and a dark, and it all depends on the intent of the person putting out that. And we have to remember that we are energy workers also, and when we're pointing our fingers out, you know, we have to be careful when we're pointing our fingers out, when we have the three folded right back. And did you ever go to court and wonder why it is stated, hear ye, hear ye, hear ye? 3 times is a charm. So if that person said in Spanish something 3 times over, then yeah, it was, but we don't know for sure what it was. Does a person's response to seeing voodoo doll like that, depending on guilty feelings, they might be harboring. Like, I have no guilt feelings, so I won't react to a voodoo doll at all. Guilty conscience, I mean. Okay, how about another story? I have a lot of personal experience and things like that. And some of you have heard me talk about this lawsuit and about the county commissioners taking away our funds to shut us up. Well, there was one producer there, and he was called Brother Christopher, the Mad Monk of Montford, Montford, in Asheville. And he was this homeless guy who had a platypus dread and a real long beard with charms in it. And those of you who have been to Asheville, at least back in the let me see, 2007, 2012, in around that time, Brother Christopher was pretty much a tourist attraction in downtown. Well, we were speaking in front of county commissioners, and I'm going off on my calling him out, and then next thing you know, Brother Christopher's calling him out, and he takes a skull and he puts it down on the podium where he was speaking and lets it sit there. And then next thing you know, here comes now former county manager Wanda Green, and she picks up the skull, and Christopher goes, and the guilty one picks up the skull. And yeah, that lawsuit that I was talking about, she was eventually investigated and found guilty of fraud and embezzlement. And, her and the 5 John and Jane Does in my lawsuit. That's it. That's it. So, fear, thought creates form. What do you think? And if people think that, somebody put an evil spell on them, well, it's much easier, to get freaked out. And, yeah, she had a guilty conscience. That's amen. And you know what's really bad about the guilty conscience? That was September the 7th of 2011. And the county, Buncombe County, and the city of Asheville, North Carolina, conspired together to silence the people. And I have fact, that I can prove. And it wasn't just, the city of Asheville and the county commissioners and the county manager. It was the FBI, and it was the state attorney general, now Governor Roy Cooper. So yeah, the conspiracy is tight in there. Let me see, does somebody doing a fake evil spur voodoo have just as much impact as a real voodoo doll if the person has a guilty conscience? It's intent. It's all intent. What power do you give your mind? I had a what I called my totem. I had a felt fairy made for me, and she wasn't real pretty. It was like I said that she looked like my grandmother. Sorry, Dad, but she did look like Banga. But she was my totem, and she hung on my rearview mirror of my car for many years. And she was pretty beat up by the time that I retired her. And someone had commented about how bad she looked. And yeah, the totems do take a lot of abuse. So what is the intent of a totem? And you can really freak someone out, but it's their own thought, their own fears. If they have a God, well, the good orderly direction will protect them. Do they have enough of faith in their God to protect them? Oh, thank you, my dear. You have a great night too. I do enjoy sharing my wisdom. Can't make you want my knowledge, but I will share my wisdom. Look more like props out of the Blair Witch Project, right out of the props department. Keep in mind, it was filmed in the area. Oh, interesting. A lot of these people are ex-felons. Well, Matt, then I'm gonna go back into I do understand the criminal justice system and how corrupt it is, and how you get a number, and how if they keep giving you numbers, they can charge you with higher and higher offenses that comes with more time. So the more time is more money. More money in the legal injustice system, the criminal injustice system that uses lawfare against the people, especially the poor class. If the poor class is put in, and they don't meet the bond, they're sitting in there until they can prove they're innocent, or, ooh, sorry about that, or if they bleed out. I was trying to get that spider. It was a pretty cool spider. Spider that sat down beside her. But he's up on top of the umbrella. So, yeah, I mean, when you're talking ex-felon, and I was listening to Glory B earlier, and she was talking about, hey, did they or did they not pay their dues to society, and should they be allowed to, live as a productive human being? There goes the spider back up again. But at least it came down to say hi. Which is good argument against for-profit prisons. That's it. That's it. You got it. An idiot. They deserve what they get. No, Matt, because like I said, I've always tried to be a good girl. I like to be on this side of the bars. Trust me, I really do not like the sound of clanging doors, whether I'm just going in to visit someone or whether I'm taking a tour of a facility or whether I'm going to speak on behalf of someone in a jail setting. Jails are not pleasant, but I do know how the criminal justice system works. And even though I was innocent of those charges, when they arrested me on those 3 warrants, totally freaking me out because I knew that I was innocent and had evidence to prove my innocence, but I still have a criminal record sitting there for 3 charges. 2 of them dropped, and 1 of them I was acquitted for. So, I do know the corruption behind the criminal justice system, and those who have the money. Shall we look by example to Pelosi's husband of recent, his DUI? How many could that have been? Let me see. Who was it that was killed in a DUI accident? I'm trying to remember what I had read, but I know that it wasn't his first DUI. So that's something to consider also. Should those who have the money get away with murder, and those who have petty crimes, whether it be possession or trespass, namely homeless, who have no place to lay their head, who are not allowed life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, something as so simple as just laying your head down upon the ground and going to sleep. Just depends on, let's see if the lawyer in South Carolina escapes this. There you go. If you don't know the law, you focus on all the facts rather than just writing bumper stickers, slogans. Been thinking a lot about this. Camping in cars on the mall. My sick in Waco was such a disaster in nearby. Maybe I see someone as a religious cult. Patrick, hello. And as I don't know when you have joined, but I do have a lot of personal stories, and I can share with you that they do have a playbook of what to do, and I was trapped in that playbook during the Occupy movement, the Occupy Wall Street movement in Asheville, North Carolina. I had said about speaking in front of county commissioners, let me see, what was it? September, Occupy Asheville started, and I was arrested on November the 5th. Remember the 5th of November. So they have a playbook, and they're playing right into it. My question is, who is it going to be who arrests them? I mean, we already know that they are, okay, all right, now, let's be nice. Don't know who you're talking about. Part of the OCW Houston. Who do you mean by they? Okay, you guys is talking and having civil conversation, and that's how we get it out. It's say what you mean what you say, don't say it mean, but if we can't openly discuss, we only focus on problems, and we can't afford that. Our society is sinking quickly, and oh, well, don't I feel special? I wonder if that's, Russia or China. They invade my website, drive me freaking crazy. So yeah, when you're talking playbook, I know how they picked me up. I know how they arrested me, and I did not willfully do what they charged me with. The problem with Santa and Big D and others who willfully, that's a big word, willfully did stop and block traffic. How many people willfully, knowing the rules, did not pay meter, sleeping in vehicles that go against the permit? What are repercussions of going against the permit? Is it greater repercussions going against the permit than if there was none to begin with? And who is it? You know? Oof. Name is crazy, so at minimum I'm crazy. I had a doctor say I was crazy, but I wasn't insane. So, yeah, I definitely relate to crazy. But just like a spider, you don't quite see what they're doing. Understand. Oops. I was trying to get a punk. Oh. Oh. Well, I hear a mosquito buzzing in my ear. Okay, you guys still with me? Here we go. It did look like a mushroom, but now it kinda, what does it look like? An angel? Is that what we're seeing? Do we have an angelic being that is visiting us tonight? Get to hear the crickets and the frogs and the mosquitoes buzzing in my ear. Ooh, sorry about that. Hey, Richard. Okay, Matt, are you guys having have you done a tick check lately? Oh man, you know that, Ivan. Ever since I had Lyme's disease, that's my kitty wants to eat your spiders off my big, oh, that's funny. That's funny. My cat is loving the cicadas. Oh, I think I have a video up on my YouTube with the cicadas last year. Troll check. Yeah, I can imagine that. And since you brought that up, I'm wondering if that's what my puppies were after the other day. I saw that they were after something in the grass, and they like to dig. Oh, okay. Yeah, Thomas, I think that he's out front. He might have come in. I haven't been inside. Oops, let me get that. Spiders are way up there. There we go. What I really should do is go get my big tripod. I finally got an adapter for my phone for on top of my tripod. I have a camera that's in storage, video camera. Yeah, my dogs love to dig and eat up dirt and fresh grass. Next entrepreneurial undertaking will be cicada flavored playbook. Well, you never know. I mean, that was like me talking about glow-in-the-dark clothing. People thought that I was crazy too. And you never know when they're, talking about, eating bugs. I mean, I don't know what they taste like, but do you really read messages in the clouds late evening? You don't read messages in the clouds all day and all night? What about a project together with glow-in-the-dark clothing for cicadas? I probably still do have some of my, excuse me, glow-in-the-dark fabric in storage. I don't have a whole lot of my glow-in-the-dark stuff anymore. But considering they're so small, it wouldn't take much fabric. Yeah, I always wondered how, because I'm always seeing the videos on my phone. I don't have a TV. I've been a traveler full-time pretty much since my son died in 2019. And I haven't figured out where I'm settling down yet. And because of that lawsuit, I've pretty much been traveling for the last 10 years. Because one of the defendants is the former DA in Asheville. And, yeah, let's just say that when I was picked up and maliciously prosecuted by this DA, yeah, it really scared the shit out of me. That's it. Crickets are good. All covered in chocolate anyways. Oh, see, here we go, Patrick. You want another chocolate story? or you want another story dealing with chocolate? Told you I have a lot of personal stories. I grew up in the town that Hershey built. So when you're talking chocolate, I know good taste in chocolate. We used to go to Hershey quite a bit. No, Ivan, I would not want to go back and settle down in New Orleans. There's places that I like to visit, but I wouldn't want to live there. And New Orleans, yeah, I'd like to go down and check out Bourbon Street and see if it is. I had a dog that was hit down there on Jackson, down Jackson Square, or yeah, a little bit south of, on Decatur Street, down in the French Quarter. So, yeah, divination drone using the clouds in the sky around them. It's old form of scurrying. Mr. Conductor. Oh, way cool. Then you would probably like some pictures that I have from the last time that I flew in the sky. Completely different system of law in New Orleans. Yeah, trust me. Yeah, well, I lived there way back in 78, Ivan. So I really don't know what's going on down there now, but I was down there over in Gretna, but there, Houston, worked for a company. Used to date a girl from Gretna. I know a Mount Gretna in Pennsylvania, but I don't know. I was in Houston once, and I know that I would not want to go back there again. It's kind of like a flooded cleansing area there in Houston and Galveston, where they have a lot of infectious diseases in their facility. And I think that was their main headquarter. And then you look at the number of hurricanes that hit Galveston, and it's like, why would you put a facility of infectious diseases on a coast that is prone to hurricanes? Yeah. Well, there again, that was, let me see, 2000, I think, that I was in Houston. And yeah, it didn't, I'm not a city girl. Although I do like going down to Miami. I was like a kid in a candy store when I was designing clothes, and they had some really cool fabric stores. I don't know who Robert Durst is. You live on the east side of Houston? Well, I think that might be a little bit higher than the west side. Am I right in that? Because I think the west side is the one that is always flooding out. Right in Chemical Alley. Oh, sugar. Lived near downtown when I was a kid in Kingwood, when places first opened up. I don't know if that was like when I first moved down to Florida in Fort Lauderdale in 77. You know, that movie Where the Boys Are? So that'll date me. But it was a paradise then. Florida was a frickin' paradise. And then they paved it, and it's not a really great place to live. Yeah, I can imagine the Chemical Alley, and it's like you wonder, with the hurricanes and the water, and, when you're on I-10, once you get to Lake Charles, oh yeah. Yep. You start to smell poison duty for a couple hours heading west on I-10. I mean, yeah, I can believe that. When I had channeled Katrina and I was trying to warn people about Plaquemines Parish and poison in the water and DC government related, and people thought I was crazy. Well, see, crazy Ivan? People think I was crazy way back, so it doesn't matter, I mean, we can't fit into someone else's norm, and we drive ourselves crazy when we try to do that. So we just have to be the unique individuals, and hopefully we can empower ourselves and not wait for someone else to empower us, you know? 23 people making an impact, GLoLady. Hey, if I can impact one person a day until I die, that's a pretty good, successful life, I'd say. You know, because a success, way back, one of my stories, I was doing portrait photography for Sears, and they sent me someplace, and this is when I was young, and it was a teacher there, and well, a teacher for the photography, and the question was, what is success? So you had to define success. And I define success as a satisfied mind, because it doesn't matter what you do in life. If you don't have a satisfied mind, oh man, that would drive you crazy. So, you know, and here I thought these punks were gonna work, and instead the mosquitoes are just, the sound of them driving me crazy. So it looks like the sun's going down. The spiders are out catching their bugs. Even my cigarette doesn't stay lit. It's just a spider, or not spider, a mosquito buzzing around my head, and I'm like, okay, where's the dragonflies? Come on, dragonflies. Come on, bats. Where are you? Where are you when you have bloodsuckers? You know? So anyhow, it's been like an hour, and I really appreciated hanging out with you guys, and, you know, for having a really good talk, you know, for getting over your differences and seeing how much alike you really are. You know, isn't that the cool thing? Finding how we can be alike, our shared experiences. And just remember, forgive others who aren't as perfect as you are. Tell me if I'm wrong, but do you think Occupy Wall Street was discredited by Wall Street investors? Let's say a certain primetime TV show. I don't know the whole story in behind that, but what I can tell you is that I've had a hard time trying to figure out the difference between Republicans and Democrats for a long time, okay? And the Occupy movement was pretty much pushed by the Democrats and their agenda. And it was politically motivated, and people were and have been anxious for leaders. So yeah, it's you know, it's sad because they have, I feel, good intentions, but I mean, Santa, don't call yourself a dumb hillbilly when you're leading so many people to slaughter. I think that might be my problem. You know? I mean, faith the size of a mustard seed can move a mountain, but you got to bring the shovel. And yeah, Moses parted the Red Sea with his staff, but I don't think he got his staff big enough. You know, I can't, and there again, I'm not God, so your purpose, his purpose in life isn't mine, and it's not that we can't believe, because we have to believe that we are the spark that we've been waiting for, you know? I mean, we all have been touched in some form or fashion. We all have our own gifts and talents. And we as a society need to, harm none and do as you will. But there's going to be a bunch of challenges that's going to be coming down for us all. And they might get national media attention. I know when we were arrested for walking on 95 back in 97 on that Veterans March that I told you about, we made national media attention, and that's the only way that we could do it, was that we were willing to walk on a highway so that media would come out and cover it. And our charges were dropped. Even though we were willfully walking, it was proven that South Carolina ran a football up I-40, and therefore, kind of made it moot to be walking on 95, so thrown out. But what they're willfully doing by breaking laws, yeah, it probably will get some media attention, but it's a flash in the pan. And are the financial expenditures worth the 15 minutes of fame and the months, if not years, defending? So, I mean, it's well, Matt, when you're talking 25 people, there was an average of 25 people who walked that 900 miles from Melbourne, Florida to Washington, D.C. Now, there again, that was right at the beginning of the internet and, the bare start of cell phones when they were very expensive. Like, I forget how many minutes she thought that she had, and it ended up into a $5,000 phone bill. So, no wonder we became the Lost Patrol. And I find similarity in the Lost Convoy. So, I guess the good thing about the dark is that I get to read the text much easier. But you can't see the spider. So, don't think you can change the system. You gotta work with it. Well, Patrick, the one who says that you cannot change the world is the one who is not willing to try. As long as each one of us, each individual, does the best that they can do, then we, as a collective, can change the world that we live in. But in order for people to come together in love, it is most probably going to be because of a tragedy. And how much tragedy will we have to go through in order to turn that tide and come together in love? Alright, it was going a little bit quick. Let me go back, because I see that there's some coming up on there. Have you asked yourself, why isn't a plan being revealed to all participants? Think about that. Use today's shenanigans to ponder the answer. Patriot Mamak? Excuse me if I got a wrong name. And hey, Dark Recon, what up? It kind of sums up the whole convoy, the whole movement until now. It has always been a cat and mouse, smoke and mirror show. And when you understand symbolically that 1 in 12 is going to be a Judas. So if you are being, whatever you want to call it, secretive in your, no, you don't want to put all of your, hey enemy, this is what I'm gonna be doing, I'm coming for you. Not putting it to that one either. But bottom line, everyone knows there's a risk of being in prison. When, where, and for how long can't be predicted. Amen to that. But there are codes, and that's the thing. They're probably in there looking through their rule book. Law is a rule, the rules of the court, and all the rules are different for each court. So what rules, what laws are they breaking, and where are they going to be heard? Is it DC? Is it federal? Or are we going to NATO forces like we have seen in Canada and other parts of the world? So, more power to them. I'm not saying that I haven't been arrested for a good cause, because I have when I, volunteered to be arrested for walking on 95. I willfully, to bring out veterans' issues, to get media attention. I willfully did that also. But, I walked down the side of the highway. I didn't shut 95 down. I didn't willfully shut down a road built more, was Biltmore Avenue, I think. I think that's what it called it, or college, whatever. Whether it was a little, whether it was a big, I didn't willfully shut it down, whereas they did. And with what they're doing, willfully disrespecting laws, rules, the rule book, that court system, the lawfare, and yeah, but it's, not even your closest. Keep your enemies close, and your friends close and enemies closer. Someone gets mad or kicked out, you team up with opposition, spill their guts. There goes your plan. Yeah, it's like your family knows you're weakest. There's nobody like your family that'll take you down. You have to have advisors. But when somebody's advising people to follow me, lead, while I lead you blindly, I mean, how many years possibility for the crimes that we're doing? And understanding that these same people who have the J6 prisoners, it's a whole different ball game. There's quite a few of those detention centers set up for the dissidents, the re-education centers. So, yeah, I just got things to do on the outside. And I can't afford to go downtown and willfully submit to an arrest that might put me where I really don't want to be, because I won't be able to see the light of day like I do now. So, yeah, that's it. Eyes on the first responder, probably getting a kickback from these fraudulent streamers. That's all Santa relies on, a first responder. See, I don't know. Hold on, let me go back and see if I got. Alright, got everybody. Yeah, I mean, who do you trust? I know that, Oreo and First Responder have been streaming the non-stop drama of the convoy for, I don't know what their number of days is, and it's always good to have a working gig, no matter what it is. And being self-employed, I would rather work 24/7 than punch a 9-to-5 clock. So my type of work isn't always what someone else would enjoy doing. And like I said, I'd rather work 24/7 for myself than punch a 9-to-5. So more power to Oreo and First Responders for having the ability to work for themselves, doing something they enjoy and making a profit on it. That's my opinion of them. Hold on, let me go back. Predominantly boarded under educated gullible grifters that were unfortunately latched onto a group of like-minded equals to feel wanted. It's hard to admit you've been duped. That's hard to admit for any human, but the lengths some individuals go to perpetrate their own gullibility is astounding in this case. I can't say that there are not intellectuals who are members of, because my wife caught me sitting on my fishing poles. What do I do to keep her? Wife caught me sitting on fishing poles? What do I do to keep her? I'd have to think about an answer to that one. That sounds like a personal problem, and what you fishing for? I think that might be what the problem would be. What you fishing for? Oh, looks like the stars are out tonight. Clouds aren't quite as bad. It's actually a beautiful night out, minus the mosquitoes. Find yourself a husband. Your wife won't want anything to do with you now. Find yourself a husband. Your wife won't want anything to do with you now. Well, her brother put it there, so now she's mad. Oh, well, it looks like you guys is working out that problem. See, and that's the really cool thing, is that, hey, let's put this problem forward and see how many people have solutions for that problem. Because when you look at it from different points of view, one point of view might not look like such a big problem after all. You know? If we're an ant, we're looking at a molehill, well, dang, that looks pretty big. But if we're a bird and looking at a little ant, well, there you go. Keep her. She worked to keep her brother instead of her. No, I don't know. I guess you guys are figuring that one out. Ask her the pole could sleep with us at night. She freaked out. I don't understand the problem. It's the fish hooks. That's the bad part of fishing poles. If you do not make sure that that hook is not correctly, yeah, trust me. I've had some stories to tell you about that too. As long as you do not bend your rod, she'll be fine. The guy's a total fraud. I don't know which one you mean. Probably sleep in the she shed with your pole. Ay, 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 ay. Hey guys, it's been fun, but I've got to call it a night. It's now dark out. Mosquitoes are not buzzing, but yeah, I'm gonna enjoy the peace and quiet. So, see you, love you, bye.